In this video, we're going to talk about what you need to consider when selecting a name or a website URL for your dental practice. Should you just use your name as the dentist? Is it better to name your practice after the street that you're on? What will get you the best results? Well, stick around to find out. Hi, I'm Nick from RevUp Dental, the company that helps dentists get more new patients, grow their practice, and beat their competition. We work with a lot of dentists in US and Canada that either buy a practice and they want to change the name because maybe the practice is named after the dentist and they're selling it and retiring, or sometimes the practice has a bad reputation in the community and the new owner decides to rebrand it. There's a lot of different scenarios where a dentist may choose to change the name of their practice. Often we're asked by our dentist, what should we do in this situation? So in this video, we're going to talk about what you need to consider and what is going to work the best long-term and give you the best results. Let's start off by talking about what you probably don't want to do. You don't want to use your name for the name of the practice. At some point, you're going to probably want to sell your practice, and this is going to work against you. A dentist is less likely to want to buy a practice that has the name of a dentist who is no longer going to be working there. They're going to have to rebrand the practice, and this is just another headache that they need to go through. Even if you hypothetically never plan on selling the practice, using your name for the practice is also a really bad idea. It's harder for people to remember your first name and last name and to Google that than to remember something like trinitydental.com. Having your name for the practice also makes you look small and unsuccessful in the eyes of many patients. Most people would more likely go to a place like Trinity Dental versus Dr. John Doe DDS. Another thing you want to avoid doing is using your street name for your dental practice. For example, if you're on Main Street, you don't want to call your practice Main Street Dental. What happens is if there are a lot of other dentists on Main Street, often what you see is one practice is called Main Street Dental, then there's another one called Main Street Dentistry, then there's another one called Main Street Dental Center, etc. This causes a lot of confusion because patients don't remember, was that ad or that flyer for Main Street Dental or Main Street Dental Center or Main Street Dentistry or the 20 other places that have a similar name. People just don't know who's who. Funny enough, this can sometimes work in your favor if you have really strong marketing and SEO, because in numerous cases, we get our clients new patients because their website outranks other practices in the area that have a similar name, practices those patients were actually searching for, but they weren't sure which website to go to or which one the correct website was, so they just click on the first one that's at the top of the page. However, this is honestly not worth doing as a strategy because of how Google's algorithm works and how it looks at brand names. You see, back in the day, a lot of businesses used to register a website URL based on the city they were in. So a dentist in Niagara Falls, for example, may register dentistinniagarafalls.com or something like that. And this actually used to work really well, maybe 10 or 15 years ago. Today, Google's algorithm works quite differently. Primarily, what it's trying to look at is how well known your brand name is in that area. This is why when you Google something like restaurant in Toronto, you're going to find brand names like The Keg or something like that. You're not going to see the first result as somebody who registered restaurantintoronto.com. So generally in SEO, what we're trying to do is improve your brand recognition of your dental practice name in that area. The more that Google sees that people know who you are, that people are talking about you, that people are searching for you, then the more popular Google thinks you are in that city and the more likely you are to show up higher on the search results. Now, the problem you have when you pick a name like Main Street Dental is there's going to be too many other dental offices with a very similar name, and Google's algorithm can become a bit confused. Is that article talking about your practice, Main Street Dental, or is it talking about Main Street Dental Center, or is it talking about Main Street Dentistry? Who's who exactly? So what may happen is a lot of the work you put into improving your reputation in that area may not have an effect or may not have as strong an effect because Google isn't really sure who's who. Potentially what could also happen is the work that you put into SEO and improving your reputation may be incorrectly attributed to another dental practice with a similar name to yours. My advice is if you're going to pick a name for your practice, pick something that's unique to that area and easy to remember, like Trinity Dental or Alpine Dental or something like that. Use a word that nobody in the area is using. It doesn't really matter what it is, as long as it's simple to understand and it's easy to remember and easy to spell. The name doesn't have to be unique to the whole world either. There may be another practice in a different city called Apple Tree Dental, for example. But as long as within a few 100-kilometer area that name is unique, then it's totally fine. When somebody searches for a dentist in the area, if they're searching for Apple Tree Dental and you happen to be the only one with that name in the area, even if there's somebody on the other side of the country that has a similar name, Google is smart enough to understand this person is looking for Apple Tree Dental in their city, not somewhere across the country. Now, what do you do if you did pick a name based on the street, like most dentists already have? What if you did pick Main Street Dental? Should you go and change the name? Well, it depends. First, it depends on how many people in your area have a similar name and how close they are to you. So if you have 10 other practices on Main Street and all have a very similar name, then yeah, it might be worth changing. The other factor is, how long have you owned the website and that domain, and how much marketing work and SEO have you put into it already? If you've invested into doing a lot of SEO work and really tried to push your brand name, then it may not necessarily be worth changing the name. You would look like a brand new practice in Google's eyes, and you would lose a lot of that hard-earned reputation and credibility that you've spent money to build. You would have to go and update all of your directory and citation listings with the new name. You'd have to do what's called a 301 redirect from your old website to your new one. There's a bunch of hoops you would need to jump through. Yes, you can do it, and we do this for dentists all the time, but it's not always worth it if you have a website and a domain that already ranks really well on Google. However, there's a lot of cases when we start doing marketing work for new dentists where they haven't really done much in the past when it comes to marketing, so there's not really much that's worth saving. If a dentist has owned a website for 5 or 10 years but never really did anything amazing with it, never really did a great job with the marketing or the SEO, then it may be worth changing and actually selecting a practice name or a brand name that is going to have more value long term. Again, it really depends on a case-by-case basis. If you're in this situation and you're not sure what to do, you can always reach out to us by going to RevUpDental.com, and we'd be happy to look into it for you and give you some free advice. I hope you found this video useful. Again, my name is Nick, and if you want to see more videos like this one, consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, or you can always check us out at RevUpDental.com. Thanks for watching.